Hello everyone! I am continuing exploring movies I previously not seen from the library of the awesome VHS releases by the British company Vipco. For years I thought this one was the 1981 slasher film Night School under one of its alternative titles, but I recently found out that this is a completely separate movie, and it was even distributed in the US by another fun company called Action International Pictures. So let's see what I dug up today, as this is the 1989 horror anthology Terrorized. Eva Adams is a young aspiring writer who has not been able to successfully sell a movie script yet. During a big writer strike in Hollywood, she gets an opportunity to write a new horror film, but she is having trouble getting her thoughts onto paper. She does have a dark imagination, and she is haunted by nightmares, but whenever she wakes up, she can't remember a single detail about her dreams, and the idea of losing out on the great ideas and the deadline is frustrating her to no end. She goes on a camping trip with her boyfriend and their friends, and to both have fun and to gain inspiration, they trade off scary stories to help Eva out. Little do any of them know that something evil is behind all of this, and that evil is in desperate need for Eva to finish her story. And that's pretty much the wraparound of this horror anthology. Although they intertwine this story in between the short stories in an unusual way that sorta works. We actually get the first segment before we are even familiarized with this group of happy campers. And that first story that we are given is about a couple who are getting ready for a night out with their friends. Before they are able to leave, a stranger shows up at the door and hands them a book called Book of Life, free of charge. The book contains intimate details about their lives and their future, even going so far as predicting their deaths.
I'm not listening to this crap.
Starla, cut it out!
Quit repeating everything I say! Shut up! Shut up! I told you to shut up!
I told you to shut up!
The second story is told by one of the campers named Manny. He used to be big into gambling, which means he has also worked up quite a large debt to a local gangster. Manny is forced into doing a robbery of the gangster's wife, but when he arrives at her place, he finds out that someone has already beat him to it and actually murdered her. Somehow, right after, he wakes up and the same exact day is starting all over again. The third story is told by Julie, and it is about her intelligent and successful sister Alex. She has become the first female world champion of chess, and she is trying to use her newfound fame to start a boycott against a controversial video game company that are responsible for some violent and despicable games like Wife Beater and Slasher. Taking this stance against this powerful game company will put her in danger, and she is put into a real game of life and death with her only hope of survival relying on her quick and smart thinking.
A small amount of liquid could end your life. 3 seconds.
When that story is done, we return to the campers and the wraparound of Terrorized. As you can see by the visuals here, Terrorized is a low-budget, amateurish production, and you have to accept that right away if you're gonna be able to have any enjoyment with this. Even though I'm used to watching cheap films, I did have my reservations at first, but what saved it for me and won me over was that the stories was mostly clever and interesting. The first with the book and the last with the escape room setting was both enjoyable, regardless if the production values and acting was less than average. It helps that none of these stories take up much time, so they come and go easily, rarely becoming boring to watch. Although I must say the second one, which was basically a Groundhog Day type of story, was the weakest one and highly forgettable. I could easily see some of the rest being redone with a bigger budget behind them and becoming good segments for something like Creepshow or Tales from the Crypt. Terrorized has 3 different directors, who all had this as their first directorial job. It was also co-written by Vivian Schilling, who also starred in the film as the character of Eva Adams. The film felt like a production by friends, who tried their best to go against all odds to deliver an entertaining movie.
Nothing is left. Nothing is left.
Terrorized is not a film that many will enjoy very much, but if you are like me and have an affection for these type of cheap productions, and are able to look past the poor waste these amusing stories are presented, then I can see some of you that might find this worth your while. I won't recommend Terrorized, and it is doubtful that I will ever revisit it again. but I'm just happy that it turned out to not be cheap trash. Terrorized might be worth checking out if you like horror anthologies, and it gets the OK score of 2.5 out of 5. Have you seen Terrorized? What were your thoughts on it and how did you come across it? Was it from either the Vipco or AIP VHS tapes? And do you know of any other obscure horror anthologies that more people need to check out? Let all of your thoughts flow freely in the comment section below. And make sure you check out the links that are in the description box for info on the Vipco book, Vipco documentary and Vipco podcast. I hope you enjoyed this video on Terrorized, put a like on the video if you did, subscribe and all of that, and I hope to see you again in the future for more videos on the obscure and forgotten, here on CinemaTerror.